Hi friends, it's Haya Grossberg. Just wanting to share some thoughts with you today about America, this country that I'm living in, and probably some of you are living in too. And an encounter I had just the other day with a friend who is from an island off of Portugal originally and is visiting America for the very first time. And this is someone who's traveled a lot. She's spent the past 18 years living in all different countries, something like 60 or 70 different countries. And she's lived in a lot of eco-villages and different kinds of mostly rural environments, but of course she's been to many cities around the world. And this was her first time in the United States, and she came to Portland to visit a friend of mine. And she also went to Ashland, Oregon. The first reaction she had here was one of major culture shock, and I was surprised that to her, part of the culture shock was just being in a city after she's been living in eco-villages and in rural environments for a long time. But she did say that the culture shock she experienced in America, her very first time being in this country, was more so than any other place she had ever been. So I asked her what it was about America that was the most different or jarring than any of these other places she's been, which are so many. She's been to pretty much, as far as I can tell, every continent and so many different parts of the world. So she had to think about it for a minute, and I think maybe she was trying to be polite and maybe not offend me as an American or to speak badly of America, but so I kind of guessed and got it out of her a little bit, and I said, well, is it that we seem less healthy or less balanced? And she said, yeah, that's it. Americans seem less healthy and less balanced, and part of it is that on the surface, these are her words, she said, on the surface everything seems kind of the same as everywhere else and everything seems fine, but then once you get to see things up close, they're actually not very fine, and people actually aren't healthy and they're not really doing well. I'm kind of making those words, I'm elaborating or deducting from what she said. But she said in other places, the negative aspects or the problems are very upfront, and there isn't so much of this kind of veneer or facade that everything's okay. So I was thinking about this because I haven't actually traveled a ton outside of this country, especially not in recent years. So I wasn't surprised. I can't say that that's a surprising fact or perspective or experience to me, but it did make me think a lot. I was like, wow, maybe I need to get out of this country. But it also made me think, a lot of people in this country, really, we don't know the water we're swimming in. Even if we have traveled outside the country, we haven't necessarily traveled to enough places to realize that America may actually be one of the least healthy and balanced places out there. So I just wanted to share with you this reality, maybe to give you some comfort if you're in America and you're suffering, and it seems like everyone else is doing so well and everything is fine and everything is good, and why am I suffering so much? It's really, no, we're all here suffering quite a bit, and there's so much going on in this country that's causing so much suffering, and our medical system and our food system and our political systems are so out of balance that it's really hard for anyone here to be healthy and balanced. And it's interesting, too, that she came to Portland, Oregon, which I mentioned this to a friend, and he said, but Portland is one of the most balanced, healthy places in this country. And I said, yeah, and she still thought that it was still a very huge culture shock for her, and she still found it to be one of the least healthy and balanced places she had ever been, and if not the most, it seemed to be the most. So yeah, it's interesting because I started thinking maybe I need to get out of this country immediately. If it's really the very worst place in the world to be, I don't think that means necessarily it's the worst place in the world to be. And I also do think that even within this country, there's a lot we can do within our ecosystems and local environments and communities to be healthy and balanced. And it's definitely not worth giving up on, but there is something to be said for just acknowledging that America is very imbalanced compared to so many parts of the world. And not everyone in the world has such a corporate health system and such damaged food systems. I mean, we're pretty unique there. So, yeah, I just want to wish you luck and faith and courage in your attempts to be healthy and balanced in this country. Because I know a lot of people that I know are really trying to be healthy and balanced and doing everything they can. And it's hard. We have an uphill battle here. So, just want to say stick with it, don't give up. Um, and just remember that even when everything looks so fine and good on the surface, that doesn't mean that other people aren't feeling similarly to the way you do and overwhelmed or stressed or imbalanced.